15 years in the USA, was it worth it? What I have done and what I have accomplished so far from day one that I arrived in the United States to nowadays as of 2024. Never forget the date, it was December 4th, 2009. I had a flight from Istanbul to DC, but I was transferred in Chicago, and I saw the big city sky towers when we were landing down in Chicago, but I was really stressed because guess what? That was my first flight ever, and it was overseas flight, imagine that. And I had no experience on flying and had zero English. That's why when we were landing down, oh, how am I gonna do it? How am I gonna talk to people to get my bag, to get on the other one? I hope I'm not gonna be late and find the right gate to get into the other plane. I ended up following the other few passengers who were going to DC. I couldn't speak that much, that's why it was a little hard, but I ended up in the DC plane and it was all good. And let me tell you this, what was the image in living in the United States as in my head, because what do we see from the media all the time? Oh, all these big skyscrapers in the big city like New York. You know what? I won't be probably living one of big ones, but like probably like few minutes away in the city life, lively, something like that. And how would I know I would be end up living with the rabbits and deer on my backyard instead of those city centers? But that's the image in your head, because whatever you see from the media, you consume that one and then you make judgments based off those, right? So basically, I assume I know a lot about the United States, but when I came here, then I saw I didn't know much really at all. Media and the reality part, they are really two different things. Anyways, one of the most cool thing when I arrived at the Reagan National Airport, I got out of the outsider gate. There were these limo cars I never seen in, like at least in Europe, there weren't that many cars like that. They were big, nice, long, you know what I'm saying? Those Lincolns and similar cars, taxi cabs. I don't know, I thought they were super cool and I was excited. Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is my 15 years anniversary video. As of December 4th, 2024, it exactly marks the 15 years anniversary that I have been in the United States. And imagine 15 years ago, I wouldn't be able to make this video because we couldn't communicate. I had no English. And I remember I was trying to talk to this guy in like few words. Hey, can I use your phone to make a call so I can, be picked up? But hear me out. This was the conversation. You phone, me call. And he understood what I was trying to say. He gave me the phone. I put the numbers, call, and then I was picked up after. And now I remember, wow, man, such days from that point to all the way to the now. Anyways, fast forward, I started to go to school, trying to learn the language and the culture at the same time. But 8 months passed and I was trying to speak fluently and understand all the words that I hear. I was riding the metro, for example, but I couldn't still understand what the lady was saying in the announcements. And I was asking, what is wrong with me? When am I gonna learn the language? I still don't understand the words and stuff. And this was my first time learning a brand new language. I had no experience in learning too. But as the time passes, there's a saying actually, your ears, they should fill up with the words and all that first. Then you'll start speaking, just like the babies. They consume, they, get all the words and stuff. And once they learn, they come out from their mouth and then go on. And in time, I got the language down, so I was able to understand, speak, and write and all that. Then what? Decided to go to school for master's so I could have better opportunities or options right after, right? But let me tell you this, I think first 2 to 3 years were the hardest because especially at the beginning, I didn't have any English, no friends, no family, zero contacts, no network, nothing. I think overall for the adaptation, either mentally or financially, that's the hardest part. You are all alone. You come over 10,000 kilometers from your home to this land and trying to build a life from bottom zero. And again, all alone without no one's help or support. So imagine this, they take you and drop you middle of this place and then they let you play. Here we go, this is your game, try to make it. So that was me right there and I started playing the game. And it was level 2 after that. I was trying to do my master's and at the same time work 7 days in a week to afford that. And even like that for another 2 years, if we count like from the beginning, like 4 years, it was all really busy, but things were getting a little bit easy. I made a few friends, travel around a little bit, and to get some work experience, of course. But again, there are levels to the game. It doesn't end right there. So summary, that 4 years were really busy and hard times, but then I bought my first car. I still have my car and I love it. I said I never had I never owned a car before, but that was one of the best options I could have. Because I didn't know in the beginning I was going to travel to 44 states with that car and had all these adventures on the road. From Key West to Niagara Falls, Texas to California, Utah to Washington State, Colorado to South Carolina, you name it. As I said, it's 44 states at the moment as of today. For that, how it started, after I bought my car, we did a road trip with my buddy. That was my first ever road trip in the States from Washington, D.C. to Key West and Key West to back to Washington, D.C. But we made a lot of stops when we were going there, also coming back. Big cities, small towns, nice beach towns and all that. Starting from that time, I was doing few trips in the different states and adding more and more states to my travels and on the road. If you want to go check out my travel videos and everything, I started with Instagram back in the day, was heavily posting on there, which is ERTUCE TV Instagram, and then I started posting on TikTok, then YouTube, Turkish YouTube, and now English channel, my English YouTube. So if you want to check him out, I have a lot of stories covered all over the United States. Go check him. If you are one of those people just like me, come here to study, work, live, and go on, I would say this confidently: do your hard work despite you don't know anyone, but keep going and never give up. Then things will happen and you level up in this game. Didn't I have such hard times? I was about to quit for a variety of reasons, all alone, trying to work it out financially and mentally, being able to stand on your feet without anyone's support from bottom zero, and the worst part, you don't know even its language you can speak. But again, never give up and keep going. That is sealed. Time passes. Now I have few years office job experience. Now it's time to level up again, another level to the game. I basically started thinking what I can do next, and I come up with the plan since I live in Washington DC, so I can work for the international organizations such as World Bank or IMF. So I started applying those. But in the meantime, I had other plans in my mind, but I was delaying them because I was so focused on this international organizations to work. And now I look at back, that was one of my costly mistakes that I ever done, because I was delaying my future plans for my short-term goals and the work. Yeah, I want to go work for this international organizations, but do I want to start my own business now or spend few more years applying those organizations and delay those plans so I can start working on them once I get into, and then I start working in those organizations, then I can start my plans. Basically was that. But despite my civil engineering background, my master's, MBA in finance, and the work experience, I wouldn't be able to get into IMF or the World Bank. This was back in 2015 or so, and I was delaying opening my own business, starting my own social media, and all that. Basically, I was waiting for the right time, more security and all that, but that never comes around. I learned that in the hard way, but don't ever delay your plans, because there will be always something missing or something lacking. You gotta keep it going, start the thing, start moving it, and basically everything will come all together on time. That was one of my biggest mistakes that I ever did on that timeline. Then it was year 2018, and I said enough is enough. I said I'm going to open my own way and do my own hard work, and I can achieve something for myself and for my own business, not for working someone else. Then I wrote down everything that fits me and that I want to do, so I can go start and take actions on them and move on. For those, one of the top things on the list that time, it was crypto investing. It was really risky at that time too, but I put all my savings. Even I was going to sell my car. Actually, I still have the advertisement pictures. I couldn't sell my car. I think I priced it high that time, but I'm glad I kept it. Anyways, rest of the savings and everything, I collected them and put it in crypto. That was the basically first bold move that I ever done. And then right after, I started my social media journey. Basically, I had these plans back in 2014 and 15, but I was keep delaying them to get in a secure place and then basically start taking actions for them. That was the mistake I was trying to tell you guys earlier. Because if I was started my crypto or social media journey back in 2014, 15, then it would be so different today. Again, levels to the game. Fast forward, then COVID happened and that changed everything. You know that timeline so important, we call it zero, and it's AC and BC, after Christ, before Christ. For my mindset and the lifetime, I call it in the same way, AC and BC, but it's after COVID and before COVID. Because most of us, me too, we were working from home because I was able to spend more time on what matters in such a productive way, which I would never thought that would ever happen, but it happened with this COVID. Then it was middle of COVID and I pulled all my crypto portfolio and put that in the real estate. Because one of the things it was happening that COVID time, if you were able to identify the opportunity and take action without delaying anything, I seen a lot of people big because it was the crisis time, it was the madness time, but if you took action, then you made the difference. And how my real estate journey began. And it was on the news all the time. Interest rates were the lowest in the last 40 years. And they were keep saying and repeating this, inflation is gonna go high, it's gonna be bad. And I saw COVID happening and people empty in the cities, they wanna have a home, buy a home, jacking up the prices with demand and the interest rates being so low. Then I said, let's move, pull everything from crypto and put it in real estate before it gets really high. And in this picture, I already have a civil engineering background, and also I have a short-term rental or management experience from my master's days. So basically, I brought up all these pieces together and started my real estate business. After I started my real estate business, I was keep extending my network and meeting new people every day. Buyers, sellers, investors, international investors, builders, developers, attorneys. So since I started my business, as of now, I have more than 1,000 people in my network, in my sphere. And it is still keep expanding every day by helping people to reach out their goals. Basically, to compare with that guy who had no English at the Reagan National Airport to nowadays with masters, DC, government job experience, and now having his own business. So that's my 15 years right there. And as I said earlier, there are levels to the game. As of now, I'm helping a lot of buyers, sellers, and investors in state of Maryland, but expanding soon DC and Virginia too. So that's why if you need any help with buying, selling, or investing, you can contact me and we can get started right away. I'll put my business website information in the comments, and you can go ahead and check market data and many useful information from there. Before we finish the video, if you ask me what are your 2 favorite things from this 15 years that you lived in the United States, first one is the business ethics, and people like to be straightforward and honest is a good quality. Second one, it's the discipline this country has. Infrastructure, laws, in general, you name it. I love how things in an order and system works. These were my favorites. What about the ones I don't really like? First one, as many of you might guess, it's the healthcare in here. This is basically a whole another new video topic, but you end up paying $2,000-3,000 for a few different x-rays which insurance doesn't cover. It is, let's just not talk now, this video is gonna go longer and longer. So for that, healthcare is down. And another thing is the education expenses. I mean, if you want to study such a specific major and want to go to a good university, then you have to spend really a lot. Then you have to pay back those students' loans till you are 40 or something. Anyways, give or take, nowhere is perfect. There are really good things, there are really down things. But here's the thing, if you are American and you are born in the United States, then I would recommend you to go travel outside the United States, and not only to Canada or Mexico, but Europe or the Far East country, so you can objectively compare how the healthcare or education systems work in there, and you can say, oh, this can be an option too with this cost. I mean, I get it, US is such a big country, big landmass, but you have to get outside to see how the things look from there. And there was a statistic, half of the US citizens don't have a passport, which means they don't travel outside. So that's stuff for today, and this was my 15 years. Follow for more videos. Bye now.